Alrighty. Are we live?
We are indeed live.
Wow.
Just configuring a couple things here, and looks like our stream is live. So let's get into things. And let me just tweet out real quick that we're live, and we'll get this thing going.
Cool, cool.
612-888-9501 if you want to join in on the chat, or you can hop in on the chat on YouTube.
Good stuff, good stuff.
1 second here. We'll get the link and then we'll go.
I'll pump it on the old X machine. Do you see Joe Lenardi? He said that he's gonna be like 2 hours till golf season. He's the only guy in America that's not excited for
Yeah, I
March
know.
Madness.
He also went to sleep early one night.
Yeah, he didn't finish his stuff. He didn't finish his work. If I did something like that, they'd probably fire me.
All right, we're good to go. Um, and let's start by talking about while we wait for the selection show to come up, we've obviously got the Big Ten title game coming down to the wire here. 88-85, Illinois leads it with 126 to go. Should be an exciting finish there. Let's talk about what happened yesterday, and I'm going to start with my New Mexico Lobos getting the job done in the Mountain West Conference title game um, against San Diego State. Basically, exactly the way that I predicted this game would go, too,
Yep.
where New Mexico got out early. First half was a great handicap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, San Diego State started to salt it away a little bit, got back in the game, kind of controlled the tempo in the second half, but New Mexico just came up with winning plays. JT topping with a couple huge offensive rebounds to kind of seal the deal for the Lobos, and just a hell of a game. And Donovan Dent was out with illness too. I mean, the way that this Lobo team throughout the tournament kind of played as a team and came together, and Richard Pitino did his shuffling with the lineup was very interesting, but it was a very positive sign for the Lobos. Um, Donovan Dent played only 9 minutes in the game yesterday. He was ill and couldn't give it a go. He tried to give it a go in the first half, didn't play at all in the second half. Jamal Mashburn Jr. stepped up, and Jamal
Yep.
Mashburn Jr. was a guy who, through the quarterfinal and the semifinal, was just a non-factor.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically out of the game. Richard Pitino had to bench him. He was taking bad shots, and then he came up huge for the team yesterday. Um, so the Lobos punched their ticket, win the Mountain West for the first time since 2014. Thought it was awesome. Were you able to tune into any of that ball game?
I watched the first half as we placed that bet on it. I was celebrating my heritage, St. Patrick's Day. So I had about a million beers yesterday, but I only got to watch the beginning of the game. But it looked like yeah, like you said, Donovan Dent was only played 9 minutes in the game. And I think it just speaks to the depth of that team and the depth of their backcourt. I think it was a masterclass by Richard Pitino. I think that team's ripe. That team has the look of a Sweet 16 team. The Mountain West, I mean, talk about winners of the day. The Mountain West, they're going to get six teams in, and all six teams are going to be single digits, perhaps, which is
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, absolutely. They're the big winners of all this. And the other thing that was impressive was just the way that so in the semifinal, they really neutralized Isaiah Stevens, the
Yep.
veteran guard from Colorado State, who, you know, kind of just has had his way with things, and he's the straw that stirs the drink for Colorado State. They were able to neutralize him and Neek Clifford in the semifinal, and then they were able to neutralize um Jaden Ledee last night.
Yeah. Yep.
By rotating a bunch of big men, Toppin got into foul trouble. Junior Joseph got into foul trouble. They inserted Forsling into the lineup for a bit there. just because they had really no choice. And I thought that they were throwing enough at Jaden Ledee to make him uncomfortable. I
Hmm.
think he was getting a lot of free throw attempts in the second half. I think San Diego State went to the line something absurd like high 20s in the second half.
Right.
I think they made 16 straight free throws. That's kind of how they got themselves back into the game because they just weren't really clicking offensively. But can't say enough about Richard Pitino's job of utilizing guys in the way that guys stepped up. A guy in Forsling who gave him, a handful of solid minutes yesterday, and he hadn't played since the non-conference schedule. So
Right.
you never know when your number is going to be called on, and that this is why March is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like I said before, it was Patino's done this year where he's made adjustments and it's just been a masterclass. He's done a really good job. Feels like he's in tune with this team. Um, and it seems like, like we said before, we had concerns about Jalen House and his attitude and his how he was approaching the game. But like we said, winning cures all. So they win the Mountain West and they go into the tournament, they go into March Madness red hot.
Yeah. Another game yesterday, just going down the board here. Wisconsin knocked off Purdue.
Yep.
Obviously, found themselves here in the Big Ten championship game. That game went to overtime. Zach Edey was really having his way. Wisconsin couldn't do much. Similar situation in that they got into a lot of foul trouble. In fact, their three big men all fouled out
Yep.
going into overtime, and then they found a way to win that ball game. It was I don't know. Do you
Gut.
have any concerns about it was gutsy, yeah. Do you have any
Yeah.
concerns about Purdue and the way that they finished things there?
No, I have a little bit of concern about I didn't watch that game much at all, but was Braden Smith, was he okay?
No.
So that concerns me because he's kind of, you know, as we mentioned on Spaces, I mean, he was hyperextended his knee. He talked about the straw that stirs the drink. He's kind of their straw. And if he's
Yeah.
not healthy, I don't love it. I mean, I see a similar situation to last year where you have a team that just um they play with high pace and they pressure and they don't allow Purdue to get, it's a game that they haven't really played before. And if he's not healthy, I see that happening.
Well, he did play, so he
Yeah,
just didn't play well. It's just he
right.
wasn't effective at all. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see them moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how the whistle goes their way in the tournament as well too, because Edie was getting everything his way. I mean, it was ticky tacky. It was kind of a bad watch, a bad basketball game to watch. It should be Big Ten physical play, and it
Right.
just wasn't that in any way whatsoever. Florida stormed back and beat
Yep.
Texas A&M.
Yep.
Um, now I was impressed by Florida and their run throughout the entire tournament. I was also impressed by Texas A&M. Now, Texas A&M is going to be one of these bubble teams that we're going to talk about here in a bit as to whether or not they deserve a chance to be in. There's just so many bid stealers out there. 21 number one seeds lost throughout college basketball over the course of the last week. So, but Florida also suffered the major injury today in the SEC championship game. What's the center's name?
I can't remember. Something with an H.
Yeah, he went down in a gruesome looking injury. Um, are
Yeah.
you concerned about Florida moving forward?
It does concern me a little bit. I just think that their team is predicated on their wing players and their guard play. And they have very athletic wings. They have athletic guards that do rebound and they can shoot the ball. It seems like when they're making, I mean, this could be said about any team, but really with Florida, I feel like when they're making shots, they're as good as anybody in the entire nation. I think they're really well coached. I think they're super athletic. It's a little bit concerning that, that front line, I don't think is their strength. Like I said, they rebound really well. But yeah, I would say I'm not as bullish on Florida as I was.
And there you have it. Illinois wins the Big Ten
Yep.
championship.
Yep. Congratulations to the Illini. They could be this is a team that I think could be kind of going under the radar. I mean, I understand my logic is every time I've backed them in March or been high on Illinois, they absolutely let me down. But this could be their year. I mean, Marcus Damask is legit. And then you have Terrence Shannon, Coleman. It's a good team.
Yeah. Yep. And they just found ways to win. They found themselves on the ropes a couple of times in this Big Ten tournament, and they just found a way to get it done. So yeah, congrats to them. Let's continue to talk about yesterday.
Yep.
Temple knocks off FAU. We'll get to FAU in a minute, but another bad loss for FAU here.
Yeah, not good.
In fact, while we're talking about that, why don't we just get into FAU, because they're a team that now finds themselves on the bubble,
Hmm.
and so I've got a couple of things for you to consider here regarding FAU, and I want to hear
Okay.
your thoughts.
All right.
Sorry, 1 second while I pull that up.
Yep.
Um, so FAU 92nd ranked schedule, 92nd strength of schedule, only two quad one wins. Losses to Bryant, FGCU, Charlotte, and Temple. Did not win
Eesh.
their conference tournament. Um, they finished the season 25-8 with a 39 net ranking, 35 BPI, 33 in Ken Palm, or excuse me, 41 in Ken Palm, and a quad one record of 2-2. Are the Owls a team that's deserving of going to the NCAA tournament after all this? I mean, they're getting a lot of respect and credit for what they did last year, and that should have no bearing on what happens here today.
Unfortunately, I think it's gonna.
Yeah,
So, do they deserve to be in the tournament? I would say probably not. With that being said, though, it's going to be a team that everybody's going to complain about and say that they don't deserve to be in the tournament, but then they're going to win their first game. That's kind of how
right.
I see it happening. That's the story arc I see. But I mean, you said all the metrics. I mean, they don't deserve to be in the tournament, I don't think.
Right. I would tend to agree with that. Let's keep talking about yet what happened yesterday. Houston gobsmacked by Iowa State. Surprising, concerning. What are your thoughts?
I'm shocked. Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked. I couldn't believe that. I see them. They haven't put up a game like this really. Even that game they lost at Kansas, that was a closer game maybe than it kind of, I think Kansas got out to an early jump and then the game played pretty even from there. So like the score would indicate they got blown out, but I would say that they played pretty good. This game, they were non-competitive. We have not seen that from a Houston team this year. I think it could end up being a good thing for Houston, that they're not invincible. They need to wake up a little bit and get things together before the tournament. So
Yeah.
shocking, yes. Concerning, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. It was pretty shocking. Although looking into it a little bit deeper, I don't know if they gave it their best effort going in. Kelvin Sampson talked about how his guys were worn out, and we should have looked at this before deciding to back him in the first half. But he talked a little bit in the previous game about how um, winning tomorrow doesn't really mean anything when we have next week looming and things like that.
Right.
His comments were a little bit like they were checked out and trying to
Yeah.
preserve their health a little bit almost.
Hmm.
I know they wanted to win the Big 12. I don't think that they just mailed it in. I think Iowa State played very solid.
Right.
And I don't really know what to think of this Iowa State going into the team going into the tournament, but um, yeah, a very surprising result nonetheless. And then UConn ended up covering and knocking off Marquette in the Big East final. It was a close game. The score doesn't indicate how close it actually was. I
Yeah.
think Marquette competed for the first half and even brought it, I think, to a tie ball game late in the second half. So, but this UConn team, man, they're a force to be reckoned with, and there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's no question. I think they're probably deserving of the number one overall seed. I don't think there's any question to that. I will say though, I've gained a lot of respect to this Marquette team and honestly Iowa State as well. Not to go backwards, because we're coming up on the selection show here in about 15 minutes and we got to get through some things. But Iowa State, I think that a team like that can do that to Houston. When I say a team like that, I mean a team that's physical, a team that, I mean, they're
Correct.
a good team that can make shots, but they're a physical team that matches with Houston, and so that's a good matchup. But it really impressive by Iowa State. I think it says a lot about them. Um, and I like the same thing with UConn. I mean, I think the same like UConn. That's a good Marquette team. I get they didn't have Tyler Kolek, but the way they played without Tyler Kolek was really impressed me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, going back to that Iowa State team and the Houston thing, that's where I was talking about my concern with Houston, with them going on stretches where they struggle to score the basketball. The
Right.
Iowa State team just has a good matchup against them.
Yeah.
Um, as far as UConn, they're going to get basically home court advantage
Yep.
probably when this bracket is revealed. They're going to be the 1 seed in the East region, which means they're going to have ball games, I think, in upstate New York.
Yep.
And then their region is going to be in Boston, so
Right.
they're gonna have a pretty solid home court advantage all the way to the
Right.
Final Four. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. And then we had two bid stealers late
Yep.
yesterday. North
Uh-huh.
Carolina State
Yep.
continued their magical run, punches their ticket, wins the ACC. Kind of controlled the tempo of that game.
Yeah.
Did some things defensively where RJ Davis wasn't on his game,
Mm-hmm.
was able to handle Armando Baycott, enough
Mm-hmm.
to keep him off kilter a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is this North Carolina State team capable of making any noise in the tournament in your
Why
eyes?
not? Why not? I
Yeah.
mean, I think they're hot right now. I've watched them. I've watched probably three total NC State games. And I think that they're a good team. I mean, I backed them, I remember specifically against Duke. And I thought that when I was watching that game, I didn't realize how good North Carolina was, or North Carolina State rather was. I think they're a solid team. I mean, they were in the tournament last year, I believe. They had, I can't remember the cat's name they had, but they had a kid guard who was good. It's a good team. I don't see why that I like this. A lot of these teams, I feel like you win your conference tournament and it's like a lull after that, right? You win it and then you got to go to a new tournament. I think with this one, it reeks to me of a team gaining momentum.
Right. Um, and as far as Oregon goes,
Hmm.
they knocked off Arizona in the semifinal. They kind of handled Colorado
Yep.
yesterday in the championship game, the last ever Pac-12 championship
Yep.
game, by the way. Colorado, a team that has a lot of talent, could still make the tournament. I think they're still slated as in. They might have dropped to the last four in line.
Yep.
But Oregon is a team that has a lot of momentum as well too. Excuse me.
I think both those teams have a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
Those are good teams. I mean, the Pac-12, I think um, maybe those teams that get into the tournament, maybe they're better than we think they are.
Yeah. Auburn. Let's talk about Auburn's win yesterday and today.
Okay.
Mississippi State competed pretty well against
Yep.
Auburn yesterday. We have a caller coming in, so
Okay.
we'll take this call.
This will be interesting.
Hold on.
First time caller.
Hello, who do we have on the line?
Guys, my name's Trey Meister from Twitter, longtime listener. Love the pod. I just had a quick question regarding Iowa State. So obviously they're having a great year, but I have a really hard time getting past them just being Iowa State. And I don't want to select them going that far. And I was wondering if you could tell me, should I be worried about selecting them going them far or having them go far? Or what's the rundown on them?
All right, thank you, Trey. Thank you for calling in. Johnny, were you able to catch that?
Yep, I was able to catch that.
All
Yeah,
right.
listen, I agree with that. I think I know what he's saying because it's just Iowa State, but I watch what I watch, I see what I see, I trust what my eyeballs give me, and I think this Iowa State team, you need to worry about them. They're good, they're physical. I think they're a nightmare matchup for people, or matchup nightmare rather for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think for the reasons we just mentioned. I mean, we just talked about this team. They just they've got a bunch of guys, a bunch of solid guys around them. They play good team basketball. They play gritty defense. They're going to get into you. They're going to be a tough matchup for whoever they
Yeah,
face in the tournament. So I think rightfully so to be concerned about an Iowa State team or to be surprised by an Iowa State team that looks
right,
this good.
right.
They might sneak their way into the one line here. I'm not even kidding. Um, I don't know that they deserve it because their non-conference strength of schedule was very weak, but
Right.
the way that they've played down the stretch has been pretty much undeniable. So,
And I think teams like Iowa State, teams like Houston that play that physical brand of basketball, they rebound, they defend well, they do all of those things. That's so easily like that transfers over so easily. And so I think it would be hard for a team that with lesser that's not that good to upset them. And then they're a matchup nightmare for a team like Kentucky that wants to run up and down. They're going to try to neutralize you and make you play a half court game and be physical, beat you up a little bit. So that's my take on Iowa State.
yep. Let's keep moving. And so Auburn wins the SEC for the first time
Yep.
since 2019. Also the year that they went to the Final Four in Minneapolis. Bruce Pearl's got his club playing really good basketball right now. I think they're deep. I think they have some guys who can really score at will. And I think this team is dangerous.
I yeah, they could be. I would s- I w- I don't maybe like them as much as you do, but I'm not going to say necessarily that you're 100% wrong. I mean, they're Bruce Pearl's a great coach. They play a physical brand of basketball. They can score a little bit. They're a deep team. So yeah, I mean, I think there's every reason to say that a team like Auburn is um should be in the mention with Iowa State, to be frank, or that's where I have them.
Right. Um, We talked about this Illinois team. What about UAB, another bid stealer? They knocked off USF. They handled them yesterday. Temple, they blasted Temple today, a Temple team who was under investigation for potential point shaving. Funny because they made a run all the way to the AAC championship game and had a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. And who do you know? They lose to the UAB Blazers, who was the last team where they were, which started the investigation. So,
Right.
is there foul play here with the Temple Owls deal and this Temple Owls team? And what do you think of the UAB team?
Well, I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and that is the foul play that's been going on with Temple. Now, listen, Temple, I get it. They were shaving points probably earlier in the year, and they were losing by a million, and I understand all of that. And then you can say that, oh, well, they made a run in the tournament, so like they couldn't have been. It's the perfect cover up. It's the perfect story arc. They definitely cheated. Something fishy was going on. There's no question about it. UAB, they're hot right now. I don't know what else to say. I don't think they're that good of a team, but they're hot. I mean, they got the Gaines kid that played with Jelly
Right.
Walker last year. He's a solid, I think he's an LSU transfer, which is
Yes.
pretty good memory on my part, if I don't say so myself. Yeah, they're hot right now. It's hard right now with teams like UAB. You'd never picture them to be in the tournament. And normally it's just a couple of these teams. You don't really know how to what to think. But I mean, Duquesne is in the tournament. UAB,
Right.
there's a tons of these teams that it's hard because you can't really, how do you judge like momentum? It's really tough.
And then I want to talk about did you see the ending in the MAC championship game?
Yes.
Kent State player fails to recognize that they go up by 1 point with under 5 seconds left, commits a foul immediately when the ball gets inbounded, sends Akron to the line to shoot two. Akron takes the lead with two free throws, and then Kent State falls. So I feel bad for our guy Lordy because he had a future on Kent State winning the MAC, which, hey, still tip my cap. That's a pretty sharp pick.
Of course.
Um, but they came up short and it's just a bonehead. I've never seen anything so boneheaded.
I had to watch it a couple times. I didn't know what was going on. I watched it without the sound. I didn't know what was going on. It was insane. I listen, I'm glad for our guy Lordy that New Mexico won yesterday because if they would have lost in this Kent State
Yes,
crap, that would have been a monumentally horrible. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. Horrible day. Horrible day.
monumentally, yes.
That's what I said.
Um,
Yep.
So Long Beach State is headed to the dance as well too here as we're about 6 minutes away from the bracket being revealed. Long Beach State fired their coach, a former Gopher coach, by the way, Dan
Yep.
Munson. He
Yep.
coached there for he coached at Long Beach State, I think, for 18, 19 years. They came to the conclusion that, it's time to move on. It's time to go in a different direction. We'll make this kind of a mutual thing and we'll part ways here. Well, Long Beach State goes on to win their conference tournament, still coached by Dan Munson, um, because they were letting him get his final hurrah here. And they're headed to the dance now. 74-70 win over UC Davis, Big West.
I think Long Beach State, it's possible they're the worst team in this tournament. Dan Munson's
Really?
he's a bad coach. Yeah. But the storyline does scare me. Can't you see a Long Beach State team in the Sweet 16 with a fired coach on the sideline?
Correct.
Just
Correct.
some whacked out stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And before we get into the bracket here, just real quick, I mean, again, reiterate 21 one seeds were knocked off in the conference tournaments. I think that there's a couple of things we have to keep in mind here before this bracket gets revealed. The number 13 seed through the number 16 seeds are going to be really weak teams. Now, teams that are hot because they
Right.
obviously won their conference tournament, but teams that had no business sniffing the NCAA tournament until this past week in their performance in this past week. So it's going to be interesting, something to keep an eye out on for sure. I think it's the most number one seeds that we had upset over the course of conference tournaments in like 25 years or something like that since 1999. So definitely very interesting. And for anybody that's tuning in just now, we got our hotline 612-888-9501. Give us a call, shoot us a text, hop in the chat on YouTube, however you want to chime in. Let's get this thing going. We are about to reveal the bracket. We hopefully expect to get chime in from our other two co-hosts, the spread inspector, as well as Lordy. And
I was glad to hear from Lordy this morning. I was worried about him a little bit.
I was too. Yeah, I was concerned about his health. I'm
He
glad he
made
made
it.
his flight. Yeah.
Right, right, right. I'm glad he made his flight. I'm glad he's okay. When was the
All
last
right.
time? When was the last time New Mexico won a Mountain West championship?
2014.
Interesting.
Yep. So, a couple other texts we got from earlier today. We'll talk about them real quick before this bracket show starts. Should we be worried about Houston after the last performance? I think we kind of touched on that. I am not worried about Houston. I think that there were several factors there. Now, my one concern with this Houston team is that they can go on stretches where they are unable to score the basketball. So if they find a team that poses a tough matchup against them, I could see that happening. However, I was really impressed with the way this Houston team played up until the championship game. So I have no concerns there. You feel the same, Johnny?
Yeah, I just think they bounce back. I think they're a tough team that they're gonna bounce back and be in form. Are they gonna go through stretches where they don't score the basketball a lot? Yes, of course, but they're gonna smother you and overwhelm you. And I think I'm not worried at all about Houston.
How about this question? Is Purdue even good? That's
Yes, yes.
a bit of a bold
Purdue
statement.
Purdue is even good. Yes, yes,
Yes, they are deserving of a one seed. And I actually like them even more, the fact that they got knocked off in the Big Ten tournament, because even more questions are going to crop up with this team
yes.
about their ability to win in March, things along those lines. I do like this Purdue team if they are healthy. And then the last question we got is Wisconsin good, or did they just get lucky over the course of the past week here? I know you might have some differing opinions on this Wisconsin team, and you don't like to admit it, but I think this Wisconsin team is good. They showed me some things in this Big Ten tournament. They just play gritty. They got guys that make hustle plays. I think they can knock down shots. They got a couple creators, Hepburn and Store. I think are really good players, and and can shoot the basketball well. I like the way that they rotate their big men in. Now, I have concerns about this Wisconsin team because of the way that they played in the regular season. They got clipped, you know,
Hmm.
at times, and it was concerning. But
Hmm.
I think they're a pretty good team.
I mean, I think this should be an and or question. I think Wisconsin, they're both they're good and they got a little bit lucky. You have to say they're good. They beat Purdue and they had their three big guys all foul out. They outlasted them in overtime. I mean, you have to say that they're good. How good is the question? I don't think they're if they're not they're not a 4 seed. If they get a 4 seed, that would be shocking. That'd be a very weak 4 seed in my opinion.
Yes. All right, the bracket show is live, and we'll give our live reaction as we watch this
Here we
bracket get
go.
unveiled.
Here we
We
go. I'm
also
gonna.
have just want to mention real quick that we do have our ESPN. Oh, what look, New Mexico first team show, the pit, the watch party at the pit.
I think you're ahead of me a little bit. Are you on CBS?
I'm on ESPN.
Cap. I'll switch over. Oh, look at the Stetson watch party. Stetson's
Yes.
a sneaky team.
Stetson, first time making the NCAA tournament for Stetson.
Really?
Congratulations. Yes.
Where is Stetson? Does it matter?
I think Florida
Oh,
somewhere.
oh. What do we got here?
I might be totally wrong on that because aren't they in
Dang.
the
Look
in
at
the
Danny Munson's place. Is that an American flag in the background? Is that
yeah.
problematic?
Oh, if that's problematic, then I don't want any part of that.
That was a nice hood fan. Look at this. South Dakota State. Looks like they're at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings somewhere in where are they? Rapid City.
No, they're in uh Brookings, I think. I don't know. Who cares? Does it matter?
Okay, so real quick before this show tips off, Michigan State, do you believe they deserved in?
Yes.
Now, here's an interesting question for you. Okay.
Okay.
Michigan State versus Northwestern resumes. Michigan State's 25 in the net, Northwestern's 54 in the net. Ken Palm, Michigan State's 19, Northwestern is 46. Strength of schedule, Michigan State 15, Northwestern 47. Strength of schedule in the non-con, Michigan State 44, Northwestern 330.
Oh my God.
And we are talking about one of these teams that Michigan State could potentially be left out here. So
But who are their wins and losses? I mean, Northwestern's got a win against Purdue,
correct.
right? Do they have a win against Illinois? I think they
I
do.
don't get me wrong. I think both those teams deserve in.
Yes. Yes. That is interesting. I didn't know that about Northwestern. I think I kind of like Northwestern.
I do too.
The Wildcats. Bo Bowie. Boo Booey. I think South Florida's out, right?
South Florida's out. Yes.
Good thing we sold on South Florida.
Yeah. 612-888-9501. Join in on the conversation here before this thing gets started. If you have any questions, I'm sure we'll get a lot of reaction once this bracket is revealed.
Yep.
And can't wait to field your calls and your texts at that point. But we're getting close, man. It's finally here. The bracket is going to be revealed. I couldn't be more stoked. I think we're in for a fantastic March because madness already has been ensuing in March.
Right.
And I think, you and I and the rest of the crew had been talking on the podcast about how we saw this tournament kind of being chalky this year
Hmm.
because there's four clear teams that
Right.
are really solid. I think we learned a lot over the course of the past week about the rest of the field and how, some of these teams, man, the playing field seems pretty level.
It seems pretty level. I think the chalk prediction might be even going more towards that with all the number one mid-major upsets, maybe. I don't know. Because I just
Yeah, right.
it's gonna be hard for me to, like a UAB or a Duquesne. I mean, they're not very, I don't think Duquesne is good at all. But they go out and they win the A10 and it's so it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be interesting.
Right. And that's kind of what I was saying with the 13 seeds and higher are going to be tough to decipher. I think there's going to be a couple good teams in that group unless McNeese gets like a 12 seed or something, but 13 through 16 there's going to be some bad clubs in there. So,
Erickson, I think we got to switch to CBS.
okay.
I think we got to switch to CBS. Yep,
Are they revealing the bracket?
we already got stuff going on right now.
Okay.
We're out of the loop. We were on ESPN. They don't even have a bracket show. We have a bracket show. They don't have a bracket show.
Okay.
So we got the East
B
region here.
Yep, BYU, Duquesne, Illinois, Morehead State.
Ooh, Morehead State's not bad. Just
We got
kidding.
a question. Will we be having a consensus Voyage bracket? We can put our heads together and maybe come up with something along those lines.
What does that mean? Like we just
Like all of us put our heads together and make picks, and like we have one combined bracket that we all like kind of agree on. It's gonna be hard for us to come to that, but
it'll
we
be
could try.
humiliating.
Washington State and Drake in
Ooh,
Omaha. In
I
Omaha. Drake's not gonna have to travel far. And Drake lost
yeah. Yeah.
their stream cutout. They're having
Yeah.
technical difficulties in Des Moines. Iowa State as a 2 seed.
That's no surprise there. Iowa State, sweet jumpsuits. They get a lot of Wisconsin guys. Wisconsin recruits Minnesota. Iowa State recruits Wisconsin. Interesting.
And they will be taking on South Dakota State, a 15 seed for the Summit League champion.
They suck. The Jackrabbits are horrible. They're going to get overwhelmed by Iowa State. I
Oh,
like
they're
Iowa
gonna get
State a lot.
overwhelmed. They're gonna get overwhelmed. Yes. Okay, Yukon, Stetson, Florida Atlantic, Northwestern, San Diego State, UAB. San Diego State gets a nice first round matchup for them, and then that'll be interesting. Auburn takes on Yale, and the two winners will face each other. San Diego State Auburn will be a fantastic matchup in the second round.
Yeah, that'll be a good 4-5.
So Florida
That
Atlantic,
eight,
wow, they give them an
yeah,
8 seed.
that 8-9 matchup right there with Florida Atlantic and Northwestern is going to be incredible.
Yeah. Florida Atlantic finds themselves in that matchup again as well too.
Yep, that's exactly where they were
We have a
last year.
text message from a listener, Jordan DeCrook. Any teams that come to mind that potentially won't be making the tournament due to teams on the outside looking in, winning their conference tournaments? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when we get to the first four here. But we have Michigan State, Texas A&M, Virginia. They could be all on the outside looking in, based on what the results that occurred.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico could have been one of those teams if it
New
didn't play
Mexico
out.
could have been, even if
Yes.
think about how crazy that is. New Mexico could have been one of those teams, even if they would have lost yesterday. A team that made it all the way to the Mountain West Conference Championship game could have been that team on the outside looking
I
in.
think they probably would have been safe, but did they beat Boise to go to the semi, right?
They beat Boise in the
Right.
quarter and Colorado State in the semi. Yep.
So we said if they beat Boise that they're in, we're good, and that was not the case. If they didn't win that semifinal game, they would have probably been on the outside looking in.
Yeah. Beyond that, I don't have any other teams off the top of my head. I Northwestern,
I mean, they're
Pitt,
in.
Pitt. Oh yeah,
Pitt.
Northwestern's in, which is crazy. At a
I
9.
think Pitt or Virginia, I think probably get in or could get in. I don't know, but yeah, those are two teams that are not looking good right now because of the. And this is what I'm saying about these. The bid stealing is a big deal because now you might not get a team like Pitt in there that Pitt could easily be a Sweet 16 team.
Right. Do you think that Drake could possibly be favorites against Wazoo?
I think it's absolutely possible. I think I could see that. I think I see that line at like a 2.5 line. I like Drake a lot in that game.
I like Drake a lot in that game.
A lot in that game. But then again, I say that now. This is how it always happens. I see the bracket, I see it now. Time goes on a little bit, and then I'm not gonna like it. That's just
Yeah.
how it works. Something's gonna come
Yeah.
up, and I'm gonna be like, I can't. Everybody's gonna Drake's gonna be the most popular underdog or something like that, and then it'll you
They
know.
they could be, but I just haven't watched enough of that Washington State team to really
I
give
know.
a proper read on them.
Because I know Drake, like, I don't think going into this year, I think they were always the favorite to win the conference, but I don't think that this is the best Drake team they've had. I think last year and 2 years ago, maybe that team was talent wise a little bit better. They maybe felt a little bit more confident. Um, but they've been playing good basketball. They figured it out a little bit towards the end of the year. And obviously, Tucker DeFreeze is an animal. I'm gonna have to do my homework and see if Washington State has a cat that can stay with Tucker DeFreeze.
Right. 612-888-9501. We've got our lines open here. And I I've been talking about Auburn all day today, and I really am high on this Auburn team. And now they're in a region in the
Yeah.
East region, a gauntlet of a region.
Yeah.
They're going to face San Diego State in the second round, which will be no easy task for them. And then if they continue to win, they'll find themselves. That's going to be a great matchup if they face UConn in the Elite Eight or something like that.
Yes. I
Well, actually, it'd
look.
be Sweet 16 matchup, but yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I could see San Diego State could be a Sweet 16 team this year.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, that San Diego State team's really good. I've been high on them all year. That was a great win for New Mexico.
Yeah, I think San Diego State team, they just control the pace. Jaden Ledee gets what he wants. When they get contributions from the outside, they're as good as anybody.
I agree with that 100%. 100%. All right, we're
Then
in the
we go to the
South region.
South region. Houston is the one
Yep.
seed in the South region.
Yep. This is going to be really interesting here. It's going to be like Long Beach State.
I feel like it is good that Houston lost to Iowa State, and
I
especially
know.
in the fashion that they did, because they're going to be ultra
Uh-huh.
motivated.
Now's the time to buy on Houston, I think. Longwood. I think that was
Long,
predicted.
Longwood.
I can't believe they find themselves back in the tournament. It's
That was
insane.
predicted. That was a spread inspector.
Yep. The spread inspector. Ooh, Nebraska. Where's Tominaga? There he is.
Tominaga is a guy that could captivate audiences in March.
Those sweatsuits suck.
A&M a 9.
What?
What
Oh
in the
my.
name, dude?
Is that real?
Oh my gosh.
I okay. I mean, I love Nebraska here. Maybe
Do you?
not. I don't
Buzz.
I love Buzz, but he screws me.
So Wisconsin gets a 5 seed.
Okay, that's predicted. Now this is gonna be big here. Who they play.
McNeese.
Is that who it is? You're ahead
I
of
don't
me.
know. No, I don't know who. I'm just speculating.
A lot of white guys on Wisconsin. A lot of white
James
guys.
Madison against
I
Wisconsin. You
ooh,
predicted it.
yes, I love James Madison in this game. I think James Madison's legit. They went early in the year, they went to Michigan State and bodied Michigan State. I think they can fucking beat Wisconsin.
We've got text rolling in. We've got a texter saying, on a silliness scale of 1 to 10, how silly would it be to pick Oakland to get out of the first round? Which we don't know their matchup yet, I don't think, but
Silly.
that's a 10 out of 10 on the silliness scale. I mean, they're going to be a 15 or 16 seed.
I've never judged. I don't know how to judge silliness.
Duke and Vermont, all right?
Eh,
4-13 matchup in the South region.
that's a good little 5-12, 4-13 there. I like both. I like you could see upsets. You could see Vermont JMU in the second round. Texas Tech with a 6 seed. Is this going to be New Mexico?
Texas Tech against NC State.
Ooh, you got to roll with Texas. I like Texas Tech a lot in that game. I think that
I
might
do
be a
too.
short line. I think that might be a short line.
Yes, I agree. I
Maybe
love
not.
that.
I do too. I think Texas Tech is legit. Pops
I,
Isaac,
it'll be a 5 or 6 point line.
probably. Probably. Who's going to be the 3 seed in this bracket? It's going to be
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Now this is going to be an interesting matchup here. They're going to put. Is this going to be McNeese?
Oakland.
Oakland?
The
That's in.
aforementioned Oakland club.
They're horrible.
They're one of the best ATS teams in the country.
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to March. Florida is a 7 seed. Who are they playing? Come on, give me
Wow.
somebody
A
good.
seven seed for Florida?
Give me a good matchup here. Give me a good matchup here.
The winner of Boise State and Colorado.
Boise State and Colorado. Wow.
Dude, they put Boise State on the last 4 in.
That's insane. I mean, they should be. That's where New Mexico would have been. Probably.
Possibly. I I don't know. This concerns me. It seems like not much respect is being given to the Mountain West here.
To the
We
Mountain
were
West.
expecting single digit seed.
Yeah. I don't like that spot for Florida, man. Okay, Marquette's the 2 seed. Let's take a look at the Golden Eagles here. They're a nice team. They share the ball well. They move.
Boise State will beat Colorado in the first 4.
I don't know. Western Kentucky, that's a very friendly first round matchup for Marquette.
Yeah, Western Kentucky stinks.
They're not good at all.
Wow. So
Oh, I see a
potential Houston, Kentucky.
or Houston, Florida, or Houston, Colorado. I haven't seen, I
No,
haven't, what do you mean,
no,
no?
dude, I don't trust that Colorado team.
Really?
I backed them last night erroneously.
Oh, that's not good. I haven't even
That's
really watched that Colorado team play that much. I know they got NBA players, but that's
They
all I
have
really
NBA
know.
players, but they can't they don't have a go-to guy, when they need a bucket. A lot of the young guys don't know how to take contact either. The
Mm,
Williams kid,
hmm
he's not strong enough yet to go to the hoop like at a
Right.
consistent pace. Um, Marquette Houston could be an interesting matchup if that's the way if it goes chalky like that. Um, I think Houston's got a pulse on this region here.
I think it's a pretty, I think it's actually a really good region. Kentucky, Marquette, Florida, Texas Tech.
Yep.
You got, yeah, I like that a lot. That's a good regional, a really good region. I'm worried I'm not gonna like anything in the first weekend. I might go to Vegas and not bet anything because I just don't like anything.
That's not happening.
Just kidding. That's not happening. Of course, that's not happening. Stetson. Who's that?
Wow. Interesting so far, man.
Very interesting. Very, very. So who's New Mexico's first round matchup going to be against?
Uh,
Let me
I don't
pull up
know.
Lenardi. He's probably sleeping right now. Bum.
Yeah, he's probably taking a nap.
Yeah, he's probably hitting golf balls right now. Like a bum. Like an absolute bum. Okay, let's see. They could be playing, well, they're not going to be playing Colorado State, right?
So no, I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, so a guy that gets paid to handle brackets just tunes out as soon as the bracket is
Yeah,
released. That's
he's not even,
unfortunate.
yeah, he's not watching right now. He doesn't
No.
care. No, of course not. Oh, we still got
612-888-9501 or hit the comments on YouTube if you're tuned in. We've got the East region and the South region already out.
I have a feeling that New Mexico is going to have a 7-10. They're going to get the 7 seed, and it's going to be a 7-10 matchup with TCU.
I think 7 is probably the range we're looking at. Yeah.
And a TCU first round matchup, that's not a great first round matchup.
I like it.
You do?
Yeah.
You like it?
I don't like TCU very much.
Really? I guess they do play. I mean, they play up and down, that's for sure. But I think that it would be a great game, but you would think that would favor the better team, which I believe to be New Mexico. But who knows?
Well,
It's
look,
March.
New Mexico, if they want to win in the tournament, they're going to have to play their style of basketball, which is creating turnovers, getting out on the fast break, and they're gonna have problems if they face a team that is really good at dictating the tempo. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we're still alive for a Dayton, New Mexico matchup.
correct.
We're still alive for a Texas, New Mexico
Although,
matchup.
yes, that is in play as well too. I am very intrigued by the fact that Boise State is one of the last four teams in.
Why does that?
I
Why?
just I don't know. Everything I saw and everything I read about Boise State, and maybe they're just maybe the committee looked a little deeper at Boise State and said, we didn't like their non-conference. They struggled early. Sure, they
Hmm.
played well in Mountain West play, but that's really where the bulk of their quality wins came from, and they don't favor well from the metric standpoint either.
Right.
Their offensive and defensive efficiency ratings are a little bit concerning. But I think it's a veteran team. It'll be interesting against Colorado in that matchup because it's a probably a Colorado team that's more talented than Boise, but Boise is the veteran team, and I liked them in that matchup.
You know what?
I think they can
Yeah,
impose some size.
now that I think about it, they do match up better they almost play way better with teams that are way more talented than them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They almost they're like they could be a little bit of a sandbagger team in that sense. I like Boise State a lot in that first game. You sold me. Didn't
And
take
then
much.
and then they would be facing Marquette in the second round.
That might be a little
Colorado,
bit too much for Boise State.
correct. But Marquette, if they faced Florida, say in the Sweet 16, all
Yeah.
right, we're back to the Midwest region now. Purdue's the one seed here. Of course, they're playing in Indianapolis.
Uh-huh. Of course, you think there's
Mon
gonna be
the Big Sky champion Montana State is gonna be in a play-in game.
against Grambling State. Montana State might lose that game.
They could.
Yes.
I bet Montana State's shaking in their boots right now.
They're absolutely shaking in their boots. Look at that Letterman's
Now what
jacket.
if
Look at
this
that
is where
Letterman's jacket that Grambling dude's got on. That thing's sick. This
Utah
is
State as the 8?
okay, this is a big one. This could be a spot. I like a team here. I'm not big on this Utah State team. So give me a good team here.
TCU.
TCU?
Yep.
I
That's a tough matchup for Utah State.
It's a good point. They could run him out of the gym.
Yes. I think they will. I'm going to back TCU in that game.
You just got done saying you don't like TCU.
Yeah, but in that matchup, I like it.
Okay, I said I was going to be big on Gonzaga, but
Gonzaga and McNeese.
is this what it is? Oh, Will Wade?
Oh, man, that's an exciting matchup there. I think it's going to be a shorter line than people expect.
McNeese State. They look excited. Good for them.
We got a text coming in. Is your refrigerator running? Yeah, in fact, I might need to go grab that. Good one. Good one.
Oh, Kansas as a 4 seed. This is
Crank
going to be,
callers.
yeah, this is going to be a big.
Ooh,
Who is it? Oh my God. I think I'm going to love Samford. What
I love Samford.
they're just in the middle of the
They're in the
street.
street.
They're
love
having a
it.
block party.
Samford wins.
Yes, Sanford's gonna
Samford
beat.
and McNeese
That
in
would be
in the
sick.
second round.
This region sucks.
Yeah. Hopefully the Lobos are on the other side of this thing.
Yeah, no doubt. I think they're gonna be. Is there any
South
chance they re
Carolina, a 6.
I can't tell how good they are. I never can get on the right side of that team.
I can't either.
They look like they're at a Canes. Are they at Raising Canes? Oregon.
Yep.
Ugh.
I like South Carolina there.
I think I do too. Creighton. Oh, of course Creighton gets a cakewalk. Shocking. Oh no.
Yep, that's a Creighton lock to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's easy. Akron.
Although don't sleep on Akron to at least cover the
Right,
spread there. I think it could be
right.
a double-digit spread because the analytics won't favor Akron. Texas a 7 seed.
A 7 seed Texas? Is that not shocking?
Colorado State's one of the last 4 in 2.
What? Virginia? So is Michigan State out? No. Virginia? Are you kidding me? I'm hammering Colorado State.
Uh
I am
yeah.
hammering Colorado State.
Oh, Tennessee, Texas will be a great matchup if that
Oh,
occurs.
yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
See you Tennessee got though. They got clobber knockered, man. They're gonna have to bounce back. The Rick Barnes and March thing is
Mm-hmm.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
15 seed here, St. Peter's. St.
That's
Peter's gets
daunting.
another SEC club. Yeah, that is daunting.
That's a daunting matchup for Tennessee. Tennessee, I do feel like they're gonna get a little bit of a Houston treatment, in my opinion. They lose that game badly and they need to wake up a little bit.
Wow.
That's a
Interesting
weak,
region here.
that's a
Yeah,
weak region.
it's a weak region, but I love Samford in that first round matchup,
So do I. So do I.
especially if the health of McCullough
Yes.
and Dickinson is still in question.
Sanford's an aggressive team too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to be scared. They're going to bring it. They're going to play
Hey
fast. They're going to
man,
play hard.
McNeese, one of 2 teams with 30 plus wins,
Yep.
mid-major teams with 30 plus wins, JMU and McNeese, they're a good team too.
So what does this mean? Who's going to be the last number one seed now? It's going to be
Probably North Carolina.
so it's going to be I bet New Mexico is the 8-9 game, but maybe
I
not.
like it or a 7. I could see a 7,
Could they get
but
to a
8
6?
no. San Diego State was a 5. I mean, they could get a 6.
Right.
I'm just surprised that Colorado State and Boise State are in the last in line.
Yeah, I am too. I
Most
cannot
people,
believe Virginia got in.
I can't either.
That's
Who,
crazy.
who are we missing in the Mountain West now? We got San Diego State, Utah. We're waiting for Nevada to find their place too.
Nevada could be the 7 seed, and New Mexico could be the 6 seed. Look
It
at
could be.
the
It
pit
could
is
be.
packed.
Yeah. Well, they're only showing one side of the arena, but yeah.
No, it's packed. It's sold out.
I wonder if our guy Lordy, I wonder if he's there. I mean,
He probably woke up 30 minutes ago. Just kidding. Didn't he say he was landing and he's probably getting home now?
yeah, he's probably getting home right around now. I just texted the group. We'll see what we can do here, but there's gonna be a lot of conversation even after this initial show is over to dissect the bracket a little bit for a little bit longer, and then we've obviously got a podcast coming out tomorrow that's
Yep.
going to go over this as well too. 612-888-9501. Send us your thoughts, your comments, your takes, your questions, anything you got for us. Having a lot of fun doing this and going through the bracket. We got some interesting matchups already. And let's take a look here. Man, that Montana State against Grambling is just
That's going to be a good game.
yeah.
I can't believe Virginia got in. I'm shocked by that. So is
I'm
Michigan State not in now?
uh
How does that work?
no, there's one more first. There's no, yeah, you're right.
I mean, yeah,
I
it's the
think you're
last
right.
four in, right? Or Oklahoma, yeah,
Boise's
because Oklahoma, you gonna leave Oklahoma out?
Boise State. I'm seeing a video from their camp right now. Just
Mm-hmm.
distraught. They're distraught to find out that they're headed to Dayton.
Yeah, they don't. They oh my, where are they right now? It looks like they're at
I
some
hear I
medieval
hear
lab.
I hear boos. I hear
They're
groans.
yeah, they're not ready.
That's disrespect by the committee, though. It really is.
You
I'm
think so?
surprised. Well, listen, man, what's the deal with Nevada here? Are they certainly in? I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, yes. They have to be in. Nevada has to be in. The question is going to be it's Oklahoma and Michigan State and Mississippi State too. We haven't talked about them.
Mississippi State, yeah, they haven't been
So it's going to be
announced yet.
it's going to be one of or two, maybe two of those teams are going to get in here, but that's not even for certain. Mississippi
I
State's a team I would not want to play in the first round.
no. St. John's is also looks like they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, they're not making it.
Oklahoma hasn't been announced yet. Seton Hall, Michigan State. We just got
Indiana
a
State.
we just got another text message rolling in from
Okay.
a listener. Having a bad day, but the stream is making it better. My car got broken into this morning. Had two vintage Dittman high school basketball cards in there. Dude broke in and left two more on the dash.
Hey man, I didn't know there were cards of me out there. I'll
Yeah,
take it. I'll
yeah,
take
that's
it.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
he's got four Dittman Farmington cards now. I'll take some.
Yeah, I mean, you could use those. Those would be good for like kindling in a fire. Bonfire season's coming up. They'd be good for maybe if you have an uneven table, perhaps you could put
Oh,
stack two of
correct.
those cards under there and it would level it out. Oh, here we go. Number one seed in
You
the
could
West
pick
region.
your teeth with them, if you got some.
Yeah.
North
North
Carolina, the
Carolina.
one
Yeah.
seed in the West region. Yep.
Howard or Wagner.
Bad clubs.
Yeah, they're not good.
Seth Towns, though, 28 years old with Howard.
I kind of like Wagner in that game, to be honest with you. I
Mississippi
watched
State's in
Wagner.
as an 8 seed.
Yep, they should be. They absolutely should be. Oh man, this is
Michigan State.
yeah, that's kind of insane. Don't they have a
I
bunch of
told
quad one
I
wins and stuff like that too, though?
correct. I told
Yeah.
you their resume is very solid. The analytics love them. They're ranked super high. 9 seed is a little higher than what I thought would happen, but St. Mary's gets a 5 seed.
Okay, this is going to be a big matchup here. This is going to be the 12 seed's going to be who's it going to be? Not JMU, not Drake. Is it going to
Dayton,
be? Oh, it could be Dayton. I don't think
Grand
so though.
Canyon.
Ugh,
I
gross.
wanted to fade St. Mary's.
I still might, but I those are like two of my least favorite teams in the entire nation, not named Kentucky or Wisconsin.
Wow.
All right, I mean, so they're gonna be so Bama is gonna be with New Mexico. Oh no, there's Bama there. Was Bama
Against
always gonna
Charleston.
was Bama always gonna be a four seed?
Yeah, I think they
Okay.
were.
For some reason, I thought they were gonna be a three seed.
Clemson a 6.
Clemson, they really screwed me in the tournament. I had them to win the ACC. They got bounced in the first round.
I'm surprised. What?
What? That is, are you serious? I mean, that's actually not that bad, though. That's not that bad, Cam.
No, it's not. But what are we talking
I know
about,
that's
dude?
really weird. That's really weird.
They're
I don't.
behind Colorado State, and
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I kind of like that. I kind of like this draw for New Mexico.
I mean, the first round draw is nice.
No, I like them against Baylor.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. That's super strange. Is Texas going to be a 7 seed here?
Dude, what?
Dayton and
Dayton,
Texas?
what in the world?
That's insane. I cannot believe that. I mean,
Dude.
so this is going to be Texas, Nevada. Nevada is a 10 seed in New Mexico's. That's something's not adding up here. Am I just influenced by biased New Mexico people,
No,
or is this insane?
no, dude. This is insane. That this clearly means they would have been left out of the tournament if they didn't win last
Yes,
night.
yes. Yeah, last night. Right. Oh my.
I'm shocked, but I don't mind the draw.
The draw is not the worst thing. The first round draw is not, it's not bad. If you can win that first round draw, gain some momentum,
Oh my
anything can
gosh. And then
happen.
they could be playing Arizona in the Sweet 16.
Yes, that's right. Or Nevada.
Yeah.
I love Nevada in the first round.
I love
Wow.
Nevada in the first round.
I love Nevada in the first round. I kind of like Charleston too.
Oh man.
The over under in the Mississippi State Michigan State game is going to be 112 points. I kind of like Michigan State in that game if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think
You like
it's not another max play, but I like that a lot.
Mississippi State?
Michigan State.
Yeah, I like Michigan State.
I think they're going to be a slight underdog.
I love it.
Well, the bracket's out. It's out.
I'm a little bit in shock. I'm kind of collecting myself here.
I am
Wow.
too.
Mountain West got disrespected, but
So Texas got left out, or no? Texas is over with Tennessee. I kept on saying
yeah,
Texas.
there's
They're already in
seven
the
seed
tournament.
yet. Well, Texas A&M got left out.
A&M got left out. Oklahoma got left out.
Yep.
I'm surprised Oklahoma got left out. I really am. I can't believe Virginia got it. Virginia's horrible.
They
They
just
had
mentioned it. They said the Mountain West, the committee was not feeling the Mountain West.
that's shocking. I mean, it's not really that shocking though. It's not. Let's be honest
No.
with ourselves.
Yeah.
The Mountain West gets disrespected every single year. And honestly, until last year, rightfully so. But it's a different year this year. I love Nevada to make it to the second round. I love them to win their first game. Here we go. The Mountain West does get six teams in though.
Yep.
The Big East gets 3 teams in.
Yes.
That's
I can't believe it.
Here we go.
Last 4 in, first 4 out. Oklahoma, Seton Hall, Indiana State, Pittsburgh. St. John's wasn't even on the line.
No. I look at Virginia's net ranking, 54. It doesn't really make sense, but I don't. Wow. Shocking. Shocking stuff. Do we have any callers?
Not at this point. We're ready to take callers though. 612-888-9501. Chime in. The bracket has been revealed. We can start to dissect it now. Let me tweet out our line one more time.
Yeah, tweet out the line. Here we go. It's out. Tuesday we got Virginia, Colorado State, and Wagner and Howard. That's going to be
Wow.
good. And then Wednesday, Colorado, Boise State, and Grambling, Montana State.
That's on
Thursday,
Wednesday.
that's on Wednesday when we're going to be in Vegas. So that's going to be outstanding. Thursday is let's see here. Samford and Kansas is on Thursday, as is McNeese and Gonzaga. Drake, Washington State, Nevada, Dayton. Thursday is going to be a big day for the boys. And then Friday we got Friday we got James Madison, Wisconsin. Obviously Friday, New Mexico plays Clemson. That's going to be a hammer play. Florida plays on Friday. Oh man, I can't believe we have a bracket. I can't believe we are to this point right now. I cannot believe it. I mean, it was inevitable. I understand that, but it is still shocking at the end of the day.
Oh man. Yeah, let's get this out. I'll tweet this out real quick and then we'll start taking some calls and some and start dissecting this bracket a little bit.
What do you think is the most surprising thing this year? Like if you from when we were doing our preview and when we were looking at things during football season, what's your most surprise? What do you think is the most surprising thing? Like if you would have looked at the bracket back then, like what would you have been shocked by?
The Big East only getting in 3 teams. The
Yeah,
the Mountain West having an all-time year. I mean, we kind of saw it coming, but still for it to happen what is
right.
pretty crazy.
We got the spread inspector here.
Spread inspectors with us?
Yes. Is his audio
How we
on?
doing?
We are live, Mr. Inspector. Just
Oh
a heads up.
gosh. Here, one sec.
You're making our viewers sick. He's driving and streaming.
Not to be advised. We can't hear you.
He's covering
Hey,
up the
can you hear me
microphone.
now?
Yep,
Yeah.
sure can.
Okay, great. So what are your guys' takes so far? I haven't seen anything. I've been driving around. I've been making corned beef. I'm hosting a dinner. What's the deal?
Well,
Well,
the
you missed
the
out.
bracket's announced. It's already out.
All right, so who got snubbed?
I think I mean Virginia's in the tournament, which is insane. I think Oklahoma got snubbed. I think
Dude,
New Mexico,
Oklahoma not making it is wild.
I mean, they had a
Especially
bad
with how they
second
started the year.
Yeah. But they had a bad
get-
second half.
Yeah, they played like shit the entire second half of the season, but like what were they? They started out like 18-0 or something in non-con in the beginning of conference play.
Yeah. But I mean, this is what happens when you have bid stealers,
That is very true.
and as many as we did. I can't believe they were clearly the committee was not big on the Mountain West. Like Cam said, if New Mexico didn't win the tournament, they weren't going to get in, which is pretty shocking if you ask me.
Who made it from the Mountain West?
All the teams we expected.
All 6 teams, but Colorado State and Boise State both got 10 seeds. They're in the play-in round. Nevada got a 10 seed. San Diego State got a 5 seed. Utah State got a 8 seed. New
Okay, do
Mexico
you
gets
think
an 11 seed.
now that I'm thinking about it though, like that 10 seed, that play-in game, you'd rather have New Mexico just be an 11 seed, right? So it's like almost rewarding
Correct.
New Mexico for being, but by putting them as a lower seed.
Yeah, I agree. They had to fit teams somewhere, and they're kind of getting rewarded by their matchup too. I mean, Clemson's no
Yes.
slouch. I get it, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
We'll get a great one with Boise State and Colorado on Wednesday too.
Who did we get at the 1 seed?
North Carolina, Houston,
UConn, Purdue.
Purdue.
That was never in
I think-
question.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know if anybody got bounced. Like Purdue wouldn't have gotten bounced just because they didn't win the tournament, but yeah, I don't know. I might put out a blog tomorrow about my take on the bracket because I still need to put eyes on it.
Good. Good.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. Did we announce our tournament challenge yet?
We did, and obviously I'll be tweeting that again as well. ESPN Tournament Challenge for Voyage. The winner will be receiving some merchandise.
Who
I'm-
won it
I'm
last year?
fucking-
Loserville? 1, 2, 3.
JV J Cave, yep.
Yep. Shout
Is
out
he going to defend
Loserville.
it?
Well, hopefully he's in it again. Hopefully he's, still active on Twitter. Who knows?
I'm wondering. I want the 8-bit better to make his way back in. I think he hasn't been around in quite some time. Cam, have you heard from him?
No, but sir, we got a bracket to dissect now, and you don't even have it in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
No, I'm driving.
this is a bracket show.
All right.
It's a show specifically about the NCAA tournament bracket.
Well,
So,
let's go through it.
well, I mean, I think those playing games right away. I like Boise State a lot to beat Colorado. I think Colorado's kind of eye candy in a way, and I think Boise State's they're a little bit pissed off, and they're well coached, and they're a little bit older of a team. They were in this playing game last year. Is that correct, or was that
Boise,
Nevada? Yeah.
Nevada was. I think Boise
Okay.
might have been as well.
Yeah, so they've been here before, they get it. Colorado is going to be a little bit shell shock, I think, from the atmosphere and just whatever comes in the tournament. Virginia and Colorado State. I like Colorado State a lot. I think that Isaiah Stevens is a really good player. I think he's going to be hard to contain. Virginia just the game has passed them by. I don't think they're good at all. I can't even believe they're in the tournament.
I agree.
If you could
I
pick
like
one
that
upset,
analysis.
what would it be? Samford? Samford plays Kansas in the first round, Kane.
I love that.
I
Dude,
love Samford.
That's fucking tough. Like, is Kansas getting their two guys back who sat out in the tournament? Because
We
if
don't know.
not, Okoronkwo, he might wreak havoc. He might.
He might
Absolutely shit on everyone.
regardless. He
Well,
might
yeah.
regardless.
I mean, yeah, he's a 6'10" big who's extremely versatile, and I'd put him up there as one of the best bigs in the game right now. Not even just for the conference. He's phenomenal.
You think he has an outside chance to win tournament MVP?
I think he should have been considered for the Wooden Award.
Okay, well that's a stretch. But even
Zach
if
Edey's overrated.
even if Hunter Dickinson plays, he's a horrible defender. I almost like him playing more because he's not going to be able to defend. I love Samford in that game. I like
How many
BYU. I
points do
like
you think they're gonna
BYU
get?
in the I like BYU in the first round.
How many points do you think they're going to get?
Probably
Samford?
yeah,
Yeah.
15.
Samford will get really
What do you think they're going to get?
I think they're going to get like
8.5.
Oh, I think it's going to be over 10.
I mean, I love it. I love him on the money line.
I do too. Plus the points, whatever it is, and pickle the
McNeese
money line.
plays
Money
Gonzaga too, which is going to be they're going to be a public underdog as well too, probably.
You think the
But I
public's
like
going to be
them.
on, yeah, because they're going to look at the 30 wins by McNeese
Correct.
and Gonzaga didn't. Yeah, so maybe Gonzaga is the play there.
Listen, James Madison also already beat a Big Ten opponent earlier this season, and they get Wisconsin in the first round.
I
Would they be
love
in Michigan
JMU.
State?
Yes, they beat Michigan State. I love JMU. Love JMU. I don't think I'm going to go away from that either. I love them.
All right, let's just go down the line here. Starting in the East region, UConn, they're going to handle Stetson. FAU Northwestern, interesting matchup there.
I'm
Who
going to
do
be
you give
honest
the
with
edge
you.
to?
FAU. I think their backcourt is a little bit deeper. Yeah, I like FAU. They've been there. They've been in this exact position before.
Yeah, the exact same position.
Right.
San Diego State should have no problem with UAB.
Yeah, no problem there.
Did UAB
Auburn-
win today? I'm assuming they did. And they beat Temple. They didn't get
They
the at-large.
Yes,
clobber
they-
knockered them.
Yes, they
Dude,
won.
that's I didn't what was the final score of that game? Because I know the line was like 7.5, and we were talking about Temple shaving points prior to
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah,
And they
Correct.
just come
They-
alive in their
it
conference
was
tournament.
all part of the plan.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts.
Auburn and Yale. Yale needs a
That's-
buzzer beater to advance in the Ivy League. Auburn steamrolls through the SEC. Auburn's going to clobber them.
I think so
Yes.
too, probably. I think that line for it could be upwards of 21.
So get this. Duquesne gets an 11 seed, which is the
Yes.
same seed your New Mexico Lobos get.
Yes.
They take on BYU. I love BYU. I don't care what the
I love
number
'em.
is. BYU is going to smoke them. What is this? Why is the A10 getting that much credit?
But
Yeah, I was gonna
I don't know that they are. I think this is a bad 10 or 11-6 matchup. It's bad for the BYU is a bad matchup for any 11 seed.
Right.
You'd much rather play Clemson than BYU.
Correct.
I think BYU could win a couple games in this tournament.
Yeah, maybe they
Uh,
give those a favor by saying that the A10 is more valuable at this point in time.
Well, Dayton got a 7 seed, so there's that.
That's
BYU
fucked.
Illinois will be a great matchup in the second round
Yes.
if that's the way it
Yes.
shapes out.
Oh, that will be fantastic.
So Kane, Washington State and Drake. Do you think Drake will be favorited?
No, I think Washington State has played phenomenal all year and they've got better size. This is the only thing that I am upset with the Missouri Valley Conference is they are typically smaller teams. I don't think that they're going to be able to match up with Wazoo's size.
That's what you're going with is just height.
Well, physicality,
I don't know,
ability to
man.
box out.
I don't know, man. Somebody's gonna have to guard Tucker DeFreeze. I don't see anybody in Washington State that can do that.
Yeah, and then Iowa State will smack South Dakota State. They'll
Yep.
smack whoever they play in the second round
Uh-huh.
Did the
between either
Sycamores
of
getting
those
that
teams.
large or no?
No,
Fuck. I might lose service for a second.
of course not.
Houston. Okay, then we'll move over to the South region. Houston's gonna smack Longwood. Nebraska A&M as the 8-9. Wait, A&M did get in. What was I thinking?
Yeah. They got it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Nebraska A&M 8-9. That's an interesting matchup.
That's a tough one because every time I bet on A&M, it's always the wrong side. It's always a bad beat. It's always something that just pisses me off. And I've had good luck with Nebraska. And I think Nebraska's better than people think. I think they look at them on paper, they watch them, and they say they're not that good, but there's something about that team that's tough.
Yeah. I agree. Wisconsin, James Madison, 5-12 matchup.
Give me JMU.
Really?
JMU, they're gonna be like 6.5 point underdogs, I would say. Give me JMU with the plus whatever the points in money line.
Duke, Vermont, 4-13.
This could be, I think Vermont can win that game.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that line is going to be inflated. There's a ton of Duke fans. It's going to get the Duke treatment. I like Vermont.
Texas Tech, North Carolina State, 6-11. Texas Tech. I love Texas Tech.
I think I love Texas Tech too. And I think it's going to be a shorter line than people think.
Kentucky, Oakland, the Horizon League stinks.
Yeah, that's
Great matchup for Kentucky.
hardly a game.
And then Florida will play the winner of Boise State, Colorado, which will be an interesting matchup regardless, but I love Florida in that game, whoever they play.
I do too, but I think Boise could give them problems. I think they
Yes.
can definitely play with Florida. I don't know. I think just for some reason, I think they're going to give them problems.
Ooh.
I don't like that. I don't like that matchup or that spot for Florida. They're going to get a team that's already has a game under their belt with momentum. That's a bad spot for Florida.
Yeah, it is. Especially if they're injured.
Yes.
Well, they are injured. We know they are.
Right.
Okay, and then Marquette will handle Western Kentucky. There's no question there. Purdue, it will advance. They're not losing again as a 1 seed to a
No.
16. Don't
No
care.
shot. Yep.
Utah State TCU will be a very interesting matchup. I think TCU's athleticism is going to be just a little bit too much for Utah State, though. I think the line will probably reflect that. I see TCU as a 4.5, 5 point favorite
Maybe. I mean, it could
as
be
a
one of
9
those.
seed.
Maybe. I think I think they obviously like Utah State a lot, right?
Right.
I think that could be a closer line than we think.
And then we get into those matchups we were just talking about. Gonzaga, McNeese, Kansas, Samford.
Yeah.
Both going to be great matchups, I think. I think McNeese is probably going to be a public underdog. Gonzaga should probably be ready to face the drum there.
Yeah.
But Samford, I really do think Samford can win against Kansas. We've talked about it.
Yep.
South Carolina, Oregon. Sorry, we're in the Midwest region now. South Carolina, Oregon. I love South Carolina.
So do I.
I think they're too physical.
I think they're too physical. They at all 5 positions they can shoot from beyond the arc. I like South Carolina.
Creighton, Akron. Don't be surprised if Akron keeps it closer than expected. But
I think Creighton's gonna handle business, but
but
yeah,
in the
don't be
second round,
surprised.
it'll be interesting.
Who do they play in the second round?
South Carolina, Oregon.
Ooh, I love South Carolina.
Texas is the 7 seed, and they'll play the winner of Colorado State, Virginia.
I mean, I like Colorado State. Maybe not. I know Texas is good.
Wait, am I mistaken, or did Colorado play Florida already earlier this year?
They could have.
They might have.
They may have,
Uh,
yes.
and no, I don't know. Whatever. So Texas, interesting matchup against Colorado State or Virginia. I like Colorado State. I think they can outpace Virginia. I think they can get
Hmm.
Virginia into spots that they don't want to be in.
Yep.
So Texas, Colorado State will be an interesting matchup. And then Tennessee, St. Peter's, a daunting matchup for the 2 seed Tennessee.
I think believe it or not, there's a world where you can get value backing Tennessee to cover the spread. I think idiots are going to be all over St. Peter's again. They just saw Tennessee get blown out. You might be able to get value with Tennessee.
So then moving over to the other side, we got North Carolina against the winner of Howard and Wagner.
Okay.
Should have no problems there. Mississippi State, Michigan State will be a great spot to back Izzo, I think.
I think it is. I think it is. We'll see how I feel once the that day comes. I don't know. I think that they have a whole guard is a solid guard. They play hard. They're not very talented, but Walker can light it up.
Yep, he
Um,
can.
so I kind of like Michigan State in that game.
St. Mary's, Grand Canyon.
How good is Grand Canyon?
They're a veteran team. They pretty much handled business in the WAC. They got clipped a couple of times in conference play. Um, how good are they though? They beat San Diego State earlier in the year. Granted, it was a home game. I think it could be a tight contest. It'll be a tight contest. Can they beat St. Mary's? I don't know. I think St. Mary's does things matchup wise and stylistically that's going to cause problems. Um, it could be a close game though. Don't sleep. And
Are they
then
better
Alabama,
than they were last year?
they're better than they were last year. Yes, they basically returned everybody and added a couple other pieces.
Interesting. The Lopes.
Um, Alabama, Charleston.
Sneaky could be a game. I think Alabama goes in stretches where they don't make shots and they become kind of helpless. So I maybe you could get Charleston to cover the spread there, but I think they'll go on a run. They'll go on a run that Charleston just will not be able to climb back from.
Right. Clemson, New Mexico. I love New Mexico. I think that they can match up inside with Clemson. I think that they can get out and run. I think they can force Clemson to turn the ball over a little bit here. Two teams that analytically match up very well.
Hmm.
Their numbers are pretty similar. If New Mexico controls the pace the way that they have been, I think they're the hot team too. Clemson got knocked out in the first round of the ACC tournament.
Yep.
New Mexico just won the Mountain West. I think it's a great matchup for New Mexico. And then Baylor and Colgate. Any thoughts?
Do you think Colgate can win that game?
I almost want to say yes, but I'm not
So
willing to
do I.
go there.
I know. I'm not willing to go there either. Baylor scares me because it's really they're really one of two ways. I mean, they could literally lose to Colgate or they could win the national title.
Right.
There's really no in between.
Dayton and Nevada.
Love Nevada.
Love Nevada. I think the line will reflect the Nevada favor. They'll be 2.5 point favorites. It's going to be a tight line, but
Yep.
I love Nevada.
Hmm.
What about Arizona? We've been saying we're going to fade this Arizona team for weeks. We've been saying we want to fade them, and now they're
Yes.
facing a team who's got a fired head coach
Yep.
in Munson in Long Beach State. They're probably going to be getting like 16 to 18 points, maybe even more. I kind of like Long Beach State to cover.
I have to take Long Beach State with the points. I don't have a
Yeah,
choice. I hate
out of
Arizona.
principle.
The storyline of Long Beach State's head coach being already fired, former Gopher coach, Tommy Lloyd on the other side. I gotta back Long Beach State.
Yes. All right. I'm going to look to see if any lines are up yet for any of these
Okay.
games.
I'm sure the Tuesday
And
game lines might be up. Nope.
Yeah, they are.
They
Colorado
are.
State 1.5 point favorite against Virginia.
That might be a hammer play.
Yes.
That could be a hammer play, dude.
Yes. And then the Wednesday line is up as well. Boise State getting 2 points against Colorado.
Perfect.
And Montana State is laying 3.5 against Grambling.
It doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So the lines are out. So let's
They
just
are
go down
out,
the
yeah.
list here. Yeah. Duquesne, BYU. Duquesne 7.5 point underdogs. Interesting line. I don't think Duquesne can even keep it close whatsoever. This is a spot though where Duquesne's been playing hot. They win their conference tournament. If they go into this game with a little bit of momentum, they start fast. As we've known, BYU is one of those teams. We've said it. Live bet them. Jump in and
Mhm.
live bet them. This might be a spot where you wait it out and try to find a live line for BYU.
I think you take the initial just with a 1 unit play. You
Yep,
wait to see what happens. If Duquesne comes out, you get the first stoppage of play, you get value on BYU.
correct. Okay, I love that. San Diego or South Dakota State getting 16.5 points against Iowa State. Hammer Iowa State. They're gonna win that game by 30.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Moorhead plus 13.5 against Illinois. Drake and Washington State. Drake is plus 1.5.
Ah, it scares me a little bit. I think it's cute.
It's a cute, yeah.
I think it's
Oakland plus 12.5 against Kentucky.
I'm hammering Kentucky, I think.
Really?
12.5 points, dude. They could go on a 20-0 run against a team like Oakland in 3 seconds.
True. Texas Tech 5.5 against North Carolina State. I think you got to play that. You got to play that early because that line might move in Texas Tech's direction.
I think it could move a full point.
Mm-hmm. McNeese 6.5 point underdogs against Gonzaga.
That's shocking. That's a very telling line.
Yeah.
That's a very telling line, and that's a line you take McNeese State there.
And Samford 8.5 point underdogs against
You
Kansas.
nailed it.
Yes,
I like it even more now.
I do too.
I like it even more. I'm taking Samford with the points. I think that line might get boosted a little bit if they announce that Dickinson's playing and McCullers playing. You might get that line at 10.
Max play alert. South
Yes.
Carolina minus 125 money line against
Oh
Oregon.
my God.
They're minus 1.5.
I love that play. That's a max bet.
Yep. Akron, Creighton. Akron getting 12.5.
I 12.5. I'll take the 12.5 with Akron.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yep.
I think the max a little bit underrated. St. Peter's 18.5.
That's what I'm saying. I'm taking Tennessee.
Max play alert. You ready? Michigan State minus 1.5 against Mississippi State.
I don't know if that's a max play alert.
It is for me. Izzo and March.
Yeah, you and all the other suckers. That's the problem
No,
with Izzo and March is you're riding. You got to ride with the suckers.
that's right. There were, for some reason, a lot of suckers on USC last year when we maxed Michigan
Yeah,
State.
that's right. That's
I
right.
don't know why. Okay, Long Beach State plus 20.5.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm sprinkling Long Beach State money line.
Dude, Arizona got taken to the wire early in the season too, I think by Irvine, who's also in the Big West.
Right.
So yeah, 20.5, hammer it, sprinkle the money line.
Mm-hmm.
Nevada minus 1.5 against Dayton.
Possible max,
Hammer.
possible max play there too.
Couple of a few short lines to keep an eye on Thursday. Let's move to Friday. New Mexico 1.5 point favorites against Clemson.
Hammer play.
I think you let
That's
the suckers move this line towards Clemson though. They're gonna just see the seed and they're gonna take Clemson.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
You're gonna get money line value in this game
money line
probably if you
value on
wait.
New
Yes.
Mexico.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Stetson plus 26.5 against UConn. Nothing there.
Nope.
FAU minus 1.5 against Northwestern. Dogfight.
Dogfight. I JMU plus 4.5 against Wisconsin. That's a telling line. That's right at that
Yeah, it
teaser.
is.
That's right at that teaser line. I like
Mm-hmm.
JMU a lot.
Nebraska minus 2.5 against A&M.
Oh, I can't, dude. They A&M has broken my heart so many times. I can't do it.
I'll tell you what, I'm taking San Diego State minus 7.5 against UAB.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. It's a lot of points, but it doesn't even matter. It really just
Um,
does not matter.
no, it doesn't. Vermont plus 11.5 against Duke.
Um, that one's scary because I feel like Duke's got some shooters, they could string together three threes in a row and then you're out of luck. It's out of reach. And I don't think this isn't one of Vermont's best teams, but I don't trust that Duke. Vermont, I don't believe to be a physical team. So
Right.
there's that.
Western Kentucky plus 14.5 against Marquette. I don't think there's anything there.
Mm-mm.
TCU minus 3.5 against Utah State. I said it was going to be in the 5 range. I think this is value on TCU.
I agree. I
I
think
love that.
that's a good money line parlay spot too. Throw them in
Correct.
there. Yep.
Grand Canyon and St. Mary's 5.5 point spread.
That's telling right there. That is
Mm-hmm.
telling.
Ooh, Grand Canyon might get public money though.
You think so?
Yeah, good.
They,
I could see it.
it's possible.
Charleston plus 10.5 against Alabama. I almost like to lay the points with Alabama.
I'm not touching that.
Holgate plus 12.5 against Baylor.
That's just disgusting. I haven't seen a 12.5 line in so long, it feels like.
That is pretty ugly.
I love New Mexico. I cannot believe they got a lower seed and they're the favorite. Like how the committee, that's the thing about the committee is it's not like they don't if Vegas,
Vegas.
yes, right. Right.
Unbelievable, man. This
Incredible.
one's gonna be it's gonna be in Memphis. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Well, we just went through it and we dissected all the lines. One last call for callers 612-888-9501. Calls or texts. We're here to answer any of your questions on the initial lines, the matchups, whatever you've got. And what do you say? Let's sign off here in about 10 minutes if we don't get anything. But initial thoughts, who do you like? Let's go region by region. Who do you like coming out of the East region? It's hard not to go against UConn, but if it's chalk and UConn takes on Iowa State in the regional final, that'll be a crazy matchup.
Okay, keep talking. Give me one chance to pull up the bracket here.
Yeah, no problem. UConn, you got UConn, San Diego State, Auburn, Illinois, Iowa State. I think Iowa State's got a clean path to the Elite Eight if they can get past Illinois or BYU, which will be an interesting second round matchup. Um,
It's hard. It's
I
the East is UConn's. It's UConn's
th
region.
This is a really tough region, though.
It is.
This is a tough region. I
It
mean,
is.
UConn's going to be facing no slouch in the second round against
I
FAU if that's the case.
correct. Correct. And you got San
Um,
Diego State, you got Auburn, BYU streaky, Illinois, who really knows? You could have a cute little Cinderella story with Drake, and then you have Iowa State. So that is a really good region.
a really good region. I think it's UConn's to lose, though.
Yep.
Let's go over to the South region. You got Houston, Wisconsin, Duke, Texas Tech, Kentucky, Florida, Marquette. So on one side of the bracket on the top portion, I don't see any way Houston doesn't get to the Sweet 16 or to the Elite Eight. I really don't think Wisconsin or Duke can, if they don't get upset earlier, I don't see them competing against a team like Houston. Houston is not going to face a matchup here until the Elite Eight, potentially against Kentucky, which could be contrasting styles, or Marquette, who's going to want to get them into a rock fight. That poses any trouble for Houston. I like Houston to the Elite Eight.
I think Houston, I agree with you. Houston's got a really nice path. I think Duke is soft. I think Wisconsin is, I don't think Wisconsin's soft, but I think Wisconsin's not very good. I mean, Texas Tech could get hot. They've seen Houston now enough. I mean, you never know. Um, I mean, yeah, Kentucky. Who knows with Marquette? I mean, who knows that Kolick hasn't played?
True. He's supposed to play, but they could get clipped by Florida in the second round.
That's right.
Um, but I think overall it's Houston. If I mean, trying not to be chalky here, but I see that.
Yep.
Going to the Midwest region, Purdue's the 1 seed, Tennessee's the 2. You got Kansas in there. We both are aligned on Samford in that matchup. South
Yep.
Carolina, Creighton, um, Purdue.
This might be the
It,
easiest region.
what do you think about Purdue and TCU as a potential second round matchup, though? It's
It's interesting.
TCU could get out and run on them.
Right. That was exactly what I was going to say. Is this is a matchup nightmare for Purdue in March. They do not do well with teams that play at that type of tempo. So I like a second round matchup TCU. This is a pretty weak region too, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, but you
Like,
want to know where I'm kind of leaning that this thing might go? And
yes.
I hate to say this,
Okay.
but Creighton, if they
Yeah.
find themselves in an Elite Eight matchup against Purdue, I think that poses a pretty good matchup for them. I think the experience of Creighton on the outside, Kalkbrenner can go toe to toe. I mean, he's not going to go toe to toe with Edie. Nobody really is, but he at least provides
Yeah.
some length on him.
Right.
I think that Creighton might be able to do some things. If that's the case, just based on my feel of the bottom portion of this bracket, that's the way I think it might go, because Tennessee, I have questions about now after their performance in the SEC tournament. Now, listen, do I think they can get past Creighton? Yeah, but that could be an interesting matchup.
I like Tennessee a lot in this. I like Tennessee. The winner of Tennessee, Texas, I like a lot. I think that I don't think Creighton's getting past the second round. I think South Carolina is going to beat Creighton. I think they
Okay.
match up pretty well with them. I think Samford is going to give Kansas is going to lose, is not going to get past the second round. I think Purdue, and then Purdue could get upset too. This is kind of anyone's region here.
Yeah. It is kind of soft, though, so that does make
Yes,
it wide open.
right.
All right. And then lastly, the West region, North
Hmm.
Carolina, Alabama, New Mexico, Clemson, Dayton, Nevada, Arizona. All things considered, New Mexico got a pretty good draw here, especially if things go if they face Arizona in a Sweet 16 matchup. One, that would be
Yes.
electric. Two, I love New Mexico in that matchup. I don't see that being the way that it goes, though. Even if Arizona gets past Long Beach State, I think Nevada has a good chance of taking them down.
Hmm.
Baylor, New Mexico will be a really fun, athletic, fast-paced matchup to watch in the second round if that's the way that goes. And then the top portion of things, North Carolina. I mean, they've been playing good basketball. They got clipped by an ultra motivated North Carolina State team in the ACC championship game. Izzo and March,
Hmm.
crazy good matchup, 8-9 there. Um, but Alabama, North Carolina could be an interesting Sweet 16 matchup as well, too.
Very interesting. I mean, North Carolina is going to have their handful in the second round. Mississippi State and Michigan State are no joke. Either one of those two teams, that's going to be that's a tough matchup for North Carolina, I feel like. And to be honest, as a sleeper, I like you said, I like both New Mexico and Nevada.
I do too.
I like them both.
I could see Nevada and New Mexico in the Sweet 16 facing off against each other in Alfred, New Mexico matchup in the Sweet 16.
Certainly.
I legitimately could see it happening.
Certainly.
All right. Well, we're not getting any texts or calls rolling in, so I think we provided plenty of analysis here. We had some guys on the IL, Ray making his way back from Las Vegas, and Spread Inspector was able to join us for a bit. He's hosting a St. Patrick's Day party though, so he's preoccupied.
Uh-huh.
And but you and I did a great job of dissecting this thing, and it was a lot of fun. And thanks everybody who chimed in. We'll be posting a podcast tomorrow, or recording a podcast tomorrow that'll be
Yep.
ready for you to listen to on Tuesday as we prepare for the week. And you and I will be boots on ground in Vegas beginning on Wednesday, and taking in all this stuff. I'm excited. Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I think you about hit it. I'm really excited. I'm excited to get down to Vegas and win some money. It's a business trip. It always is. We've come out every year as winners, and I expect nothing less this year.
All right. And one last plug for the ESPN Tournament Challenge group for Voyage CBB. We'll be giving out a merchandise package again to the winner of that group. So JV Jake Cave got a nice merchandise package from us last year, and we'll be doing the same thing this year. So join that. We'll be tweeting it out, and we will talk to you guys plenty this week. Cheers to March Madness.
Thanks for tuning in.